Okay, Blair, we are going to start out with reading, and I'm going to have you read this book out loud to me, and I'm going to listen to you read out loud. So is this a book that you have read before?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so why don't you start out with telling me the title, and then we'll spend about 5 minutes, and I will listen to you read out loud.
Gingerbread Mouse. A winter snow had covered the forest, but Mouse was cozy in her tiny home. She was snuggled under the covers, fast asleep. Crack! Mouse woke up and ran outside. What was that sound? A huge branch crashed to the ground, missing her by inches. Oh no, Mouse cried. Her cozy home was
Ruined.
Climbing?
Very good. Climbing.
Climbing a tall tree, Mouse saw the twinkling lights of a mouse nearby. I will look for a new home. There she is, said. After a long, cold journey, she reached the big house. A warm light glowed from the window. She climbed up to take a peek. Mouse couldn't believe her eyes. There inside the house was her new home. Just her size, almost like magic. But how could she get in? Then Mouse saw her change.
Close. Let's look at that letter. So it's not a G, it's a C. So instead of change, we would have chance. Chance. Good.
She jumped up onto the tree as it brushed by and was inside the house in a twinkling. Mouse scurried up into the table. She couldn't wait to move in. Do I read that one? Or that
Yes,
one
go ahead.
first?
Yeah. I believe you'd read that one.
This
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
She made a rug and
Curtains
from ribbon and string. She made a small box into a dresser. She made a rocking chair from cardboard. This is starting to feel like home, she said softly as she dropped off to sleep. Suddenly, there was a big, huge crash. Mouse jumped up from her bed. Ouch! She heard someone say, a great man, a giant man, in a red suit stumbled into the living room from the fireplace.
Yeah. Rubbing
his head. He pulled.
What are these called?
Presents.
Okay, so what's another word for present? In the beginning of that word says pack. So packages, good.
Packages from a large bag and placed them under the tree. You have a nice little home, he said, as he filled the stockings over the fireplace. You mean me? Mouse asked. You might need a place that will last a bit longer, though, he said as he sipped his cocoa. Maybe I can help. He stood up and brushed Cookie combed from his coat. Then he pulled one last gift from his bag. Mouse gasped in surprise. There in front of her was the nicest gift she could imagine. It's beautiful, she cried. But when she turned around, the man in the red suit was gone. Ho, 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 she heard echoing from the chimney. Mouse settled in right away. On Christmas morning, the snow was finally softly outside the window. Mouse got up bright and early to watch the presents being opened. Later Christmas night, Mouse sat happily
yes.
Knitting.
So like in the picture you can see her knitting a little sweater or something, or what is it? Maybe a stocking.
Well, it's a sweater.
Looks like a sweater, yeah.
Sweater in her new home. She heard a soft knocking sound. She peeked out the door and saw a package on the doorstep. A small card was attached with ribbon.
No, that's cute. So tell me a little bit about why do you like that book? Or what did you think about it?
Well, I think that Well, I'm glad that she got a new home because it will last a long time. And she liked it. And it was soft and cozy to her.
Yes.
And so,
It brought back so many wonderful memories about Christmas time. I can't wait for Christmas. Okay, we are going to move on to our reading lesson. And I'm pretty excited because we're going to read Junie B. Jones. And I know how much you love Junie B. Jones. So we're going to read Junie B. Jones Smells Something Fishy. So, some of the things that we're going to work on while we read this book. The first thing we're going to do is make predictions. Do you know what prediction means?
no.
Okay, I'll help you. So, good readers, whenever they read, they make predictions. So, here are some of prediction starters. So, we would say something like, I think something will happen because. So, for example, if we look at this cover, we may say, I think this book may involve a pet or something like that. Or you could say something like, I predict, or I think. So, really, it's just trying to almost in a way guess what you think will happen next or what you think something may be about. So we're going to work on predictions. We're also going to make connections, which just means if there's anything in this book that reminds you of something, or it may make you think about something in your life, or you may think of something in this book that relates to another Junie B. Jones book that you've read. And then we'll also work on asking questions. So if there's anything in here that you have a question about, for example, like we could say who, where, when, what, or something that you may be confused about. Feel okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make predictions. So I want you to look at the cover of this book, and I want you to tell me what you might predict that it may be about. And there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to know what you think from using the cover. What do you think?
That she might have a smelly pet.
Okay, so Junie B. Jones may have a smelly pet. Why do you think smelly?
Because I think that fish smells very terrible.
Yes, the fish smells terrible, so it may have something to do with a smelly pet. Okay, that's a good prediction. We're actually going to look at the first chapter, the title of the chapter, and I want to see if you can make a prediction about what this may be about. So we have this picture, and we also have the title called Pet Day. So now I want you to write down a prediction that you think you may have in that little box right there. A prediction of what you think this chapter may be about. And you can tell me first before you start writing if you would like to. So what do you think? Pet Day.
I think that she doesn't have a pet, so she's going to get one.
Okay, so maybe she's going to get a pet. Okay, that's a good prediction. So go ahead and write down what you think.
You're right, so she's going to get a pet.
That's fine. Yeah, you can say that she will get a pet. Looking at the picture, where do you think she's at?
At school.
Okay, so at school. So maybe she's going to have a pet day at school. Maybe. Okay. So now, if you don't care, will you scoot a little bit closer to me so we can share the book? Okay, so we're going to read Pet Day. And there are 7 pages in this chapter. So if you want to share, like you can read a page and then I can read a page, or if you feel comfortable reading all of it. If you get tired, let me know and I'll help you, okay? But as you're reading, I will have you make predictions as we go, and then we'll read to see if our predictions are true. Okay, so go ahead and let's see what happens on Pet Day.
My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for
Beatrice.
Beatrice. Except
Good.
I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. And guess what else? B rhymes with stands for pet, and pet rhymes reminds me of what happened at school today. First, I was sitting at my table doing my work. Then all of a sudden, my teacher stood up and she clapped her loud hands together.
Okay, so let's make a prediction. Why do you think the teacher stood up and clapped her hands? Even like looking at the picture. So she's standing up and she's clapping her hands. What is she probably fixing to do? What do you think?
Maybe say good job to you.
Okay, so maybe tell the students good job. Or maybe tell them about Pet Day. Maybe. Okay, let's read and we'll find out. Do you want me to read for a little bit? Are you okay?
I'll let you.
You want me to read for a little bit? Okay. Her name is Miss. She has another name, too, but I just like Miss, and that's all. Boys and girls, may I have your attention, please? She said. I've got some very exciting news. Next week is National Pet Week, and to help celebrate our wonderful pets, Room 9 is going to have Pet Day. I springed up from my chair real thrilled. Hooray, people, hooray, hooray, we're going to have Pet Day, I shouted. My feet skipped all around the room, because they wanted to spread the news, that's why. Pet Day, we're going to have Pet Day, Charlotte, I hollered. Pet Day, we're going to have Pet Day, Jamal. Pet Day, we're going to have Pet Day, you meanie Jim I hate. Okay, so let's make another prediction. Why do you think she was screaming and hooping and hollering?
Because she doesn't have a pet and she's jealous.
Okay, so maybe she's jealous. Okay. Let's read and let's see why she was yelling. Do you want me to keep reading a little bit?
I'll read this page. Just then, Miss grabbed me by my...
It's supposed to be like suspenders, but she just put spinders. Do you know what suspenders are?
It's kind of like coveralls?
Yeah, kind of like the coveralls, so to hold up. Well, and actually, if we look at the picture, we can see her suspenders. So she's got those to hold up her pants. So why do you think the teacher grabbed her? What was she doing wrong?
Because she was yelling out names and stuff.
Yes, if that happened in your classroom, and the teacher probably... I don't think your teacher would probably grab you by your suspenders, but what would your teacher probably do?
She would probably say, go to the office.
Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead and read a little bit more. Yes, we're right. Yeah, suspenders.
Suspenders. It is the growing up word for the straps
good.
That hold your pants up. I looked around very worried. Yeah, only here's the problem, I said. If you pull off the suspenders, boom, the pants fall down. Miss did a frown at me.
Why do you think the teacher was frowning? What did she just do?
She just pulled her pants.
Well, yeah, she kind of was sassy with the teacher and was like, if you pull off my suspenders, the pants are going to fall down. Right.
Sit down right now, she said, real scary. I did a
gulp. So kind of like if the teacher were to tell you something like get on to you, if you gulped, you'd be like, right, so she's probably nervous.
Will do, I said. Then I hurried up back to my seat and Miss went to the front of the room again. She told us all the rules about Pets Day. She said that Pets Day will be next Monday. And if you have a cat or a dog, you can bring in his picture. And Miss will hang it on the bulletin board.
Okay, so I have another question. Why do you think she said if you have a cat or a dog, just bring in a picture? What do you think one of the rules may be?
Don't really bring your pet to school.
Yeah, don't really bring your pet. Or a cat or dog may be too big to bring in for pet day, maybe. Okay, so let's make another prediction. What do you think Junie B, what do you think she's thinking right now? Or what do you think how will she react to that? You can only bring in a picture. Does she seem like a character that will be happy with just bringing a picture?
No.
Probably not. So how do you think she's going to feel?
Sad or mad?
She'll either be sad or mad. Yeah, let's read and find out. I think she's fixing to tell us how she feels. Are you okay for a little bit, or do you want me to read for a while? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing great.
But please, boys and girls, no cats or dogs at school. Okay, she said. The only animals you can bring to school are pets in cages. I springed up again. Ooh.
Woo.
Ooh. That was a close one, I said. 'Cause I have a dog named
Tickle.
and at first I thought I could only bring in his picture, but now I will bring him in a cage. Miss shook her head. No, Judy B. I'm afraid you don't understand. No dogs or cats will be allowed at school at all, not even if you bring them in a cage. I'm going to decorate a special bulletin board for all the dogs and cats pictures.
Sounds kind of weird. Junie B uses some nonsense words. So she said, I hanged my head, but really it should be I hung my head. But she talks kind of silly sometimes. So I hanged
my head. Really?
Let's break it apart. So disappointed. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. Do you know what disappointed means?
Like not really happy?
Okay, so yeah, not really happy, or you're kind of upset. So we are going to see if we can figure out why she's disappointed. So why do you think she's disappointed?
Because she can't bring her dog in a cage or without a cage.
Yeah. All right. You feel comfortable reading the next page? Or do you want me to for a little bit?
I'll let you.
You want me to? Okay. Shoot, I said, because a dog picture isn't even fun. That's why. Just then, my bestest friend named Grace waved her hand in the air. Can I bring my goldfish, Slicky? She asked. Is a fishbowl the same thing as a cage? Mrs. smiled. Yes, Grace, a goldfish will be just fine. After that, my other bestest friend named Lucille raised her hand too. Teacher, guess what I'm going to bring? I'm going to bring a picture of my new pony, and also I'm going to wear my expensive new riding outfit. That way everyone will see how cute I look when I ride. Miss stared at Lucille a real long time. Why do you think the teacher was staring at her?
Because, well, I think because she was like, what? You're really going to wear that to school?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. Before we read this page, let's look at these pictures. What can you tell about Junie? What does she look like?
She looks like she's mad and talking.
Yes, she looks like she is very upset about something. Okay. Go ahead. Are you ready to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
What a treat that will be, she said finally. Lucille poked me with her finger. I can't wait for pet day. Can you, Judy B, just wait till you see how cute I look in my riding boots, she said. I didn't say anything back. She poked me again. Pets Day is going to be fun. Don't you think, Judy B? Don't you think Pets Day will be fun? Don't you?
Okay, so before we read, let's make another prediction. So in this picture, it looks like Junie B is really upset. So what do you predict Junie B may react to her friend saying, don't you think it's going to be fun? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? What does that picture maybe tell us about what she may do?
Poke her back or push her.
Okay, so she may poke her back or push her. How would you react if a friend was doing that and you were disappointed about something?
I would tell them to stop.
Yeah, tell them to stop. Okay, let's read and see if it tells us what she did.
Just then I leaned really close to her face. Don't you poke me one more time, and I mean it. I grouched. What is so fun about bringing a dog picture? Lucille, what is so fun about that? Ha. After that, I put my head on the table and covered up with my arms. And I didn't come out till the end of school.
Okay, so that's the end of chapter 1. So before we do anything else, let's make a prediction about what you think this will happen next. So that next time we'll see if it's right. So she was covering herself up with her arms and she didn't come out. Why was she feeling that way?
She was sad because she couldn't bring her dog to school and she didn't want to bring a picture.
Okay, so what do you think may happen next?
Maybe she might find another thing to do.
Maybe.
With the pet.
Yeah, or maybe bring in something else. If you had pet day, what would you bring?
I would bring a horse.
A horse?
A miniature pony.
A miniature pony? Do you think your teacher would let you do that?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay.
I would put it in the library.
Put it in the library.
Read books.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. I think it'd be cool if schools had pet days. I never got to do that when I was in school. Has Roland ever done that you know of?
No. Now, there is, like, at my church, there is a pet day, but we really don't. We just, like, do stuff with our animals. We don't, like, really bring them to church or anything.
Yeah. So what do you think about that first chapter? Did you like it? You think it'll be a book that you like?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, too. Okay. So, thank you. I need to plug that in real quick. Okay, so while I plug in the iPad, I want you to think if there was anything in that chapter that reminded you of something. So this is where you're going to make connections. So did it remind you of something like in your personal life, or did it remind you of maybe like a friend in your school that was kind of like how Judy B's friend was pestering her? Maybe it reminded you of a pet. So think about, just for a minute while I plug this in, think about, were there any connections that you could make?
Do you want me to write chapter 1?
Yes, please. Got that plugged in. So did that chapter remind you of anything?
It reminded me about my pets.
Your
So,
pets?
like my dog, my cat.
Mm-hmm.
How they couldn't bring your cat or your dog to school, and it's like if I go home and then I have a note on Pets Day that we can't bring our pets to school, but we can bring a picture. That's what it would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay. Yeah. That's a great connection. Okay. Did you have any questions while you were reading that chapter? Like maybe something you wonder or something you're confused about?
No.
No? Okay. All right. We're going to think about Junie B's character. So we have this character chart, and what we're going to do is we're going to think about how Junie B's attitude about Pet Day changes from the beginning of the chapter to the end. So in this section, I want you to write down what you think her attitude was like in the beginning of the chapter. So let's talk about it for a minute. In the very beginning, what was her attitude about Pet Day? She was very what?
Sassy.
Yeah, well, she was sassy, yes, but she was talking, and the author used capital letters to show that she was kind of like yelling. So how did she feel about Pet Day at first?
Happy.
She was happy and excited. Good. So we would describe her attitude as like happy. She was excited. But then, how did her attitude change? She became very what? Yes, she kind of had an attitude, and then she felt really disappointed. And there's that word if you want to. So we're going to put that on this side. So end of the chapter. Yeah. So her attitude has changed. So a lot of times in stories, our main character will go through kind of an attitude change. So do you think throughout the book her character or her behavior and attitude may change a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it might go back to disappointed. It might go back to being happy.
Yes.
But I think once we get done and it's kind of at the end of the story, I think that she will probably be happy.
I think so too. I feel like most of Junie B. Jones's books end up pretty happy. Okay, so now I have a couple of questions for you. Why do you think Mrs. will only allow pictures of dogs and cats? Why do you think only pictures?
I don't think that they have another room for dogs and cats to go in.
Okay.
And the cats and dogs might run away.
Yes, they probably wouldn't. They'd probably be too big. Okay, so I want you to pretend that you're Junie B. and it's Pet Day. What animal would you bring to the school? Which I know I kind of already asked you that. Or would you bring a picture? So if you only were allowed to bring an animal in a cage, what caged animal would you bring, or would you bring a picture of like your horse or your dog? what would you do?
Well, could I bring both?
I don't see why not. So you bring a picture of your horse, and then a caged animal. What would you bring?
A dog.
A dog? But did you let dogs in cages?
No.
So I know you don't have, let's see, you have a cat, you have a dog, and you have horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And pigs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could have any kind of pet in a cage, what would you want? Like
A
there's
pot-belly pig.
a potbelly pig. You keep those little cages? You're silly. What about like a gecko or a lizard? No? You're not a lizard person?
No.
Or like a hamster? I've had a class pet as a hamster before. And your mom had a gerbil. Was it a gerbil?
No,
What
it
was
was
it?
a guinea pig.
A guinea pig. Would you ever want
I
something
would
like that?
bring a guinea pig.
Yeah, your mom's guinea pig was super cute. Yeah.
Lady Ranger was her name.
Our class pet hamster escaped from the cage my first year here, and they ended up finding it a week later in the principal's office, hiding.
I wonder
It was crazy.
if it was like, what was it eating?
Yeah. I don't know.
Might have been eating dog.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to make one more prediction, and I actually want you to write it here for me if you don't care. I want you to write what you think Junie B will bring in on Pet Day, which I know we haven't read that far, but what do you think? This is where it gets kind of fun. What do you predict she will bring? And then tomorrow we'll see if the chapter tells us. So what do you think?
A fish.
You think she'll bring in a fish? Why do you think that?
Well, because the cover says smelly something fish.
Yeah, smells like fishy. That was a very good prediction. So tomorrow we will find out. Okay, we are going to move on to our word study. So I'm going to give you
We're playing
some
a game
cards.
now.
It's kind of a little game. We're going to sort these words. But this is what's called an open sort. So what that means is I want you to figure out how you would sort these words. So I'm going to lay them out in front of you, and I want you to tell me what you notice about the words, and I think you'll notice them. And there's quite a few, but we'll do it together. So looking at these cards and the words that are on them, what do you notice? Are there any patterns? What do you see?
Well, they all have an O in them.
Good. They all have an O. What else?
And
What comes after the O in some of them?
A and a W.
Good. So do all of them have an OA or an OW?
No.
They don't?
Well, toad.
Okay. But they all have the OA, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you'll notice, they all have either an OA or an OW. So now I want you to put these cards into categories. So, and I'll help you if you need help, but we should have a couple of categories. So how would you sort them?
Well,
What do you think?
I would put load, toad.
And go ahead. Yeah, you're right. So go ahead and start stacking them up. So you have load and toad. What else?
And road.
Road. Good.
And then starting a new pile. No.
Good.
Row. And then snow. Glow. Grow. Glow. And show.
Okay. And what about the rest of these?
And then
Would they follow one of those two patterns? Close. Try it again. Not glow. Okay. So for example, in road, what sound does those two letters make?
O. O-A.
O-A. Yeah.
So
So what sound does that make?
goal.
Goal. Very good. Okay.
Has
What
an
about this one?
O. And then
Sorry for the cheer in the background. We have cheer practice after school. It's a little loud. Okay, go ahead. Are you okay though? Is it too loud
Yeah.
for you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
So I think this one should go in the O sound.
Good.
And then this boat should go in the O sound. And then float would go in the O sound.
Very good. And one more.
Lone should go in the O sound.
Okay, so tell me what you noticed about the OW and what sound does it make? So, for example, in the word show,
It makes an
we hear
O.
an O sound.
But
And then
then in this pile, it makes the O sound too,
Very
but it's
good.
different letters.
Yes, very good. So sometimes we have vowels that will make, it's called the long O sound. So it's literally saying its name O, but sometimes it could be an OW and sometimes it could be an OA. So you sorted those wonderfully. So now, this is kind of like a Valentine's Day thing, but I thought it was cute. So we have our envelope and then we have a recording. So there's not a whole lot of lines. So I want you to go through there and we'll figure out which words you want to write down. So let's start with the OA sound. So we have the lone, or if you want to just say them off as you move the cards, maybe like say the word. So you have lone. What's the next one?
Float.
Float. Good. What's next?
Boat.
Boat.
Groan.
Very good. Groan. What do you think groan means? If someone groans.
Like grr.
Yeah, kind of grumpy.
Go.
Go. Good.
Road.
Good.
Toad.
They are cheering you on for tutoring. Do you know what a toad is?
Like a toad that you catch.
Yeah, good. Just checking.
And then load.
Load. Very good. All right.
And then loan.
Do you know what it means if you loan somebody something?
Like, so if you, like, live in a house and you can't pay too much because you don't have the money, somebody would loan them.
Very good. That's kind of what you guys are doing with your new house, right? You got a loan from the bank to build your new house? I bet you're excited to get in. Good.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So those were all of the words that had the long O with the OA. So now what's different about this side?
It has the OW.
Very good, but it still makes what sound?
O.
Oh, all right. So go through there and say those out loud.
Show.
Show. You did.
Blow. Crow.
Do you know what a crow is?
Like it's a type of bird.
Are you sure that's your? You
I'm
sure
fine.
those aren't bothering you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then glow.
Glow. Good.
Snow. Grow. And new.
Great. So now, also, we could tie in what kind of words would these be if they all have the same ending sound, starts with an R. Like in poems, they have these kinds of words. Has your teacher ever asked you to do like rhyming words? Yeah, so these would all be like rhyming words. So if your teacher ever asks you for words that rhyme, got a whole bunch of them. Okay, what'd you think about that?
It's fun.
Fun? Awesome. I'll try to get us some games that we can play with the cards too. You did great on that. Alright, and one more time. What sound did they make?
O.
The O sound. Awesome. Okay, we are going to do some writing now. With writing, I was going to give you a prompt, but if you want to write about, I mean, you can really write about anything that you want to. So if you want a prompt, I can give you a prompt, or if you have an idea for a story that you may want to write about, you can. But we're going to focus on a couple of things for writing. We're going to focus on using capitals, punctuation, and then writing in a complete sentence. So before we start writing, I'm going to have you kind of share some of your ideas, and then I'll help you form your sentences. So would you like a prompt? Or do you already have an idea in mind about what you want to
Well,
write?
I kind of have an idea.
Okay, what do you think?
So, like, I don't know when it was, but I think it was when school started, but it was like the day after school started. So, it was like on a Friday after school or something. No, it was that Saturday after Friday of school. And me, my friend, and her grandma, we all were riding horses, and we wanted to contact each other and what time that I would go and stuff. We were just having fun.
Okay, so do you want to write about that?
Sure.
Okay, so how would we start? How would you start off your first sentence?
One day.
Okay, you could start that with one day. So you said one day I went to my friend's house. Okay. What do you say next?
I rode horses, and then we went back to the house and we played games.
Okay, so you said one day I went to my friend's house and we rode horses. Do you think we should end our sentence there and then maybe start a new sentence?
Yes.
Okay, so let's put a period. And then you said you went back and played games?
Yes.
Okay, so then you could say something like, well, yeah, just we went back to the house and played games. Okay, is there anything else that you did on that day?
Then went and worked at my new house.
Okay, so then you went and worked on your new house. Are you really excited to move? When do you think it'll be done?
Either before Christmas or at Christmas.
Around Christmas time? That'll be the best Christmas gift, getting into your new house. Okay. Will you read what you wrote down for me, please?
One day I went to my friend's house and we rode horses and went back to the house and played games. Then I went to my new house and
Very good job. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. All right. You did awesome. I love it. Okay. So for the last few minutes, we can either have like personal reading time where you can read a book that you would like, or I can read a book to you. What would you prefer?
You read a book.
Me read to you? Okay. So this book is called Interrupting Chicken.
Oh, I know this story.
Yeah. Have you read this one before?
Well, we kind of read it, not all of it, but I've read half of it.
Yes, I love Interrupting Chicken. I even read it to my junior high kids and they think I'm silly. Okay. It was bedtime for the little red chicken. Okay, my little chicken, said Papa. Are you all ready to go to sleep? Yes, Papa, but you forgot something. What's that? Asked Papa. A bedtime story. All right, said Papa. I'll read one of your favorites. And of course, you are not going to interrupt the story tonight, are you? Oh, no, Papa. I'll be good. Do you think he'll be good?
No.
Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel were very hungry. Deep in the woods, they found a house made of candy. Nibble, 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 they began to eat the house, until the old woman who lived there came out and said, What lovely children. Why don't you come inside? They were just about to follow her when out jumped a little red chicken, and she said, Don't go in, she's a witch. So Hansel and Gretel didn't. The end. Chicken. Yes, Papa. You interrupted the story. Try not to get so involved. I'm sorry, Papa, but she really was a witch. Well, you're supposed to be relaxing so you can fall asleep. Let's try another story. I'll be good. Do you think he'll be good?
No.
Little Red Riding Hood. Take this basket of goodies to Grandma, said the Little Red Riding Hood's mother, but don't stray from the path. The woods are full of danger. Red Riding Hood skipped along through the deep woods. By and by, she met a wolf who wished her good morning. She was about to answer him when out jumped a little red chicken, and she said, Don't talk to strangers. So Little Red Riding Hood didn't. The end. Chicken. Yes, Papa. You did it again. You interrupted 2 stories, and you're not even sleepy. I know, Papa. I'm sorry, but he was a mean old wolf. Wait, did I skip a page? No, I didn't. Sorry. Yes, now get back into bed. Okay, Papa, let's try one more little story, and I'll be good. Chicken Little. Chicken Little was hit on the head by an acorn. The sky has fallen, she thought. She was about to run off and warn Goosey Lucy, Ducky Lucky, Henny Penny, and everyone on the farm. The sky was falling when out jumped a little red chicken. And she said, Don't panic, it was just an acorn. So Chicken Little didn't. The end. Chicken. Yes, Papa. You did it again. Oh, Papa, I couldn't let that little chicken get all upset over an acorn. Please read one more story and I promise I'll fall asleep. But Chicken, said Papa, we're all out of stories. Oh, no, Papa. I can't go to sleep without a story. Then, said Papa, yawning, why don't you tell me a story? Me? Tell a story? Said the little red chicken. Okay, Papa. Here we go. Bedtime for Papa by Chicken. Once there was a little red chicken who put her Papa to bed. She read him 100 stories. She even gave him warm milk. But nothing worked. He stayed wide awake all... Papa? Good night, Papa. The end. So what did you think about that one?
I like it.
You like Little Red Chicken? I do too. I always thought it would be fun to have students like take a fairy tale or something like Hansel and Gretel or Little Red Riding Hood or something, and kind of how the Little Red Chicken interrupted. They could write their own like version of the story. I always thought that'd be fun. All right. Well, you did wonderful today, Miss Blair. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off since we're just.